Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Fishing Midwest. I'm your host John B, and today I'm out on the beautiful Hocking River in Nelsonville, Ohio. I actually dropped in right at the bridge at the Hocking College. Near Hocking College is about a 5-minute walk from the actual campus. And I've probably walked about a quarter mile now going up river. And you know, the fishing's kind of slow right now. We had a little bit of rain last night, some thunderstorms, and we're supposed to get some thunderstorms here in a little bit. So I kind of understand as to why I'm not catching them too good or at all, really. But I still wanted to make a video, take some time and let you guys know how I do catch some of these fish when the conditions are a little bit better. I'll talk to you guys how to catch them when the conditions are hard, how to catch them when the conditions are prime, and just what to look for when you're fishing, you know, just a stream or a creek in general, not necessarily the Hocking River. The Hocking River really has some of the most those beautiful smallmouth I think I've ever seen for as small as it is. It's a smaller river. It's very long and it travels a long distance, but it's not exactly, you know, your Mississippi River. It's almost like a cross between a creek and a river, in my opinion. But I hope you guys stay tuned. Enjoy today's episode. Thanks for watching. So like I said, I'm out in the Hocking River right now, and the conditions are a little iffy. It's a lot cooler than it has been all week. It's actually been one of the hottest weeks in Ohio, in southern Ohio. Yesterday was 92. I actually went wading yesterday in this 92-degree weather with the waders on, and let's just say I was more wet inside my waders of sweat than I was on the outside. It was just nasty, you know. It made the fishing difficult, and it made walking around in these waders hard. But this is my second time wading the river. This is the farthest I've been to. Temps are in the high 70s. With humidity, it's probably around like 84 or something like that. It's really, really humid. It's thick. The air is real thick right now, and that can sometimes turn off the smallmouth fishing. Smallmouth like colder water. They like clear, cold water. They like deeper water, and they like hard bottom. And most of the river that I've been going up on, or I've been traveling on and fishing, has been muddy bottom. It's been a little warm, and there are some deep spots, but it's not too clear. So I've actually just pulled up to the spot where it's kind of like a little break in the river where it's so shallow that you've got a lot of fast-moving water, a lot of current, and the water's actually cleared up. I can feel the water. It's a lot cooler than it was back down by the bridge, and it looks to be a little bit deeper with some pockets here and there in between shallow spots. Now, a few things that you want to look for when you're out on a river system like this are, like I said, you know, cool water, clear water, deeper water, and hard bottom. And that's mainly for smallmouth. You know, there's spots in here too that like to linger in with the smallmouth, but that's kind of the basic way to try to target these fish, really. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to find them in warm, shallow, dirty water. It just means that that's where the majority of the population is going to be. I fish this river quite often, and I tend to get into the bigger schools of smallmouth when I'm in the fast-moving, cool water. It just seems to be a really big habit for those fish. They like that fast-moving water. They're almost like trout, you know. They run with the current. A lot of the bait runs with the current, and so do the smallmouth. And the smallmouth are extremely aggressive and extremely active. So you'll be catching them pretty much all the way up until things start to freeze over. And here, I don't believe this river really freezes over unless this winter is pretty nasty, which it has been in the past. But for the most part, these smallmouth are constantly feeding and constantly moving up against the current. Now, as far as figuring out what baits to throw, you kind of have to observe what's going on in the river system. What are the bait fish feeding on? Where are the bait fish? Are there crawdads present? You know, you just kind of have to keep that in mind. Has it been a really rainy season? Has it been pretty dry? You know, one thing I always look for when I get on the river is I look at the banks. I look to see if there's little crawdad mud holes near the banks, and how far up are they. If they're right by the water's edge, especially if there's been a huge rain or something like that, I'll tend to kind of gear towards a jig or a little tiny swim jig, or maybe even a crawfish colored crankbait, something that like a dives to 4, something kind of shallow, nothing too deep. If, you know, there's been some low water, the water's clear, and I'm seeing little big pockets of bait fish, then I'll tend to throw something like what I'm throwing today, which is a wacky worm, or a minnow style crankbait, or even a little tiny 1/16 ounce jig with a little grub on the back. I don't throw anything longer than 3 inches when I'm throwing the grubs. I'm throwing a 4-inch Senko today, Gary Yamamoto Senko, in a cinnamon color because it really stands out nice with this clear water. But smallmouth have smallmouths, and they like to see something that's the size of the bait fish in here. You know, there's not huge shad in this body of water. There's small minnows, little creek chubs and stuff like that. I guess those are a little bit bigger, but that's not what the smallmouth are targeting. They're targeting these small little bait fish that are feeding up on these insects. And that's another thing too, is look for what the bait fish is feeding on. Right now there is a ton of activity going on top of the water as far as minnows hitting the insects that are in the body of water. And actually I want to show you a perfect example over here. So let's go check it out. So right here, as you can see, we're in only about 2 to 3 inches of water, and there's a bunch of what I believe are water skimmers. I'm not positive, but these things are all over the river, and the bait fish absolutely devour these things. There's a couple different types. There's the water skimmers, and then there's these guys. These are almost like a beetle form, and they really don't go under the surface, and they like to run in big pods like this. See if we can get a closer look at these guys for you. But they're extremely fast and extremely active, and a lot of the people that fish this river tell new anglers to look for these bugs, because actually, I don't know if I can get a good shot. As you can see, there's bait fish just right under these insects right here. They're really spookish. I'm like right on top of them right now, but the bait fish are under the insects, and under the bait fish are the smallmouth. So keep that in mind. Never overlook something as small as a couple bugs getting active in the water. You know, it's like putting together a puzzle, especially in these creeks like this where fish can be really tentative. The fishing can be a little bit hard because it all depends on really the rain system, how much rain there's been in the past couple of weeks, and what the weather has been like. If you've got a hot streak where it's been like 90 all week or all couple of weeks, the fishing can be tough, you know, because it's going to warm up the water substantially, and it's going to turn off the bite, really. So what I got right here is the first Hocking River smallmouth of the day. She's kind of small, so I'm going to camera stuff her right there. Nah, she's close to a pound maybe, but just a beautiful species, really. You know, these river smallmouth, they're so beautiful. Beautiful colors. They're all so healthy too. You know, look at that. I mean, there really is nothing wrong with this fish. Just a very pristine smallmouth. I'm going to real quick put this back in the water, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the whole system of fishing a new area like this in the portion of the river. So hold on a second. So I'm going to release this guy right here. First smallmouth of the day. Absolute beauty of a fish. There she goes. Come on, pup. Catch you later. Wow. Awesome. Awesome fish species. Doesn't get any more fun than that. What I want to talk about is, like I said, I've been fishing for about, gosh, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours without a single bite or a single trace of a smallmouth. And I pull up to the spot, and all of a sudden it just clears up. The water is a lot cooler, and there's rocks everywhere. There's the whole bottom is just rocks and stone. And within my 10th cast, I caught a fish. So the point I'm getting at right now is fish hard and fish for a long time, because at the end of the river or at the end of your trip, you may be rewarded with a school of smallmouth. You know, you never know when you're going to run across an area like this where the fish are actually located. Fishing all day and I haven't seen a single dang smallmouth, and took only 10 casts in this area that looks completely different from what I've been fishing all day, and I caught one. So keep that in mind. Never give up. Go by the My Guy Canelli rule. Never give up, and continue to fish until you find what you're looking for. Rip wrap and stuff like that. But oh, there's a smallmouth right there. You see him? Anyways, that came right out. I mean, it just goes to show that there is